The Beetlejuice movie is an estate planning dream. It's all about probate and real estate squatters. In the classic, Gina Davis plays Barbara Maitland and Alec Baldwin plays Adam Maitland. Barbara and Adam are married and have no children. We know they own a home. We're assuming it's in Florida. And they die in a car accident. When the film was released in the spring of 1988, Gina Davis was 32 years old and Alec Baldwin 29 years old. Statistically, only 24% of 18 to 34-year-olds have a will. So it's a safe bet to assume Adam and Barbara died without an estate plan. This means that they are considered intestate. In other words, they do not have a last will and testament. Their assets would be subject to the probate court. A judge would transfer title of their home to their heirs at law based on the Florida statute 732.102, the intestacy statute that says who inherits when someone dies who did not have an estate plan. Probate in Florida is not quick, it is not easy, and it is not cheap, but it gets the job done. The film shows the car plummeting through the covered bridge and dropping into the river. Assuming Barbara and Adam died in the crash and not in the hospital after being rescued from the crash, an autopsy would determine who died first. For example, perhaps Adam did not have water in his lungs, but Barbara did. This means that Adam died of blunt trauma and did not breathe in the water, but Barbara survived the crash and died of drowning. Hence, Barbara died second. Death certificates have consequences, y'all. Why is this important? Because under the intestate statute, in a childless married couple, when one spouse dies, the other inherits 100%. The survivor then is unmarried. When the survivor dies, the nearest relative or relatives of the survivor inherits 100% of the estate. If Barbara died second, then Barbara's family inherited the house through the probate court. Adam's family would get nothing. Zero, zip, nada, bupkis. If you think this is unfair, then hire your caring law firm and let us prepare you an estate plan to get the result you want. So, Barbara's family inherits the house and sells it to Charles and Delia Dietz, played by Jeffrey Jones and the fabulous Catherine O'Hara, and Lydia, Charles's daughter, Delia's stepdaughter, played by Winona Ryder. Delia Dietz is an interior designer and guts the house and remodels it. But wait! Barbara and Adam inhabit the house. They don't know right away they are ghosts. They believe that Charles, Delia, and Lydia are squatters and want them out. Charles, Delia, and Lydia believe that Barbara and Adam are squatters and want them out. Hilarity ensues. But squatters, people who unlawfully occupy a building or land, are a real problem nationwide. How do property owners legally get people who say they have a right to be in your house out of it without calling on Beetlejuice? A new law in Florida helps property owners. Homeowners now have the right to ask law enforcement to immediately remove squatters from their property. Mind blown. Who knew that homeowners didn't have the right to ask law enforcement to remove squatters before July 1st, 2024? I'll tell you who knew. Squatters knew. It's a thing. A squatter moved into a house down the street from me in 2017. The woman had a fake lease, which she showed to law enforcement when the owners tried to get her out. It was craziness, and by the time it was over, the squatter set the house on fire. There are rules to follow, but this new Florida law makes it much easier for homeowners to regain control of their property. In addition, if the squatter fakes a lease or a deed, it is a crime. Squatting with the intent to cause $1,000 or more in damages, such as setting the house on fire, also is a crime. Pretending to have the authority to rent or sell a house now is a crime. I know. You're thinking, but Merrell, of course these are crimes. Of course the Dietzes have the right to evict Adam and Barbara, who no longer own the home, yet plan to live there for the next 125 years. And Barbara rode a sandworm through the house to keep Lydia from having to marry Beetlejuice, causing way more than $1,000 in damages. Until the new law, Delia and Charles were stuck. That's why Lydia called Beetlejuice to be the enforcer. The new Beetlejuice movie is coming out soon. We're having a watch party. Look for the details and join the fun.